That's right, Jeff Bezos clawed his divorced hands into Animal Crossing culture too. We are never immune from the influence of the aristocrat of House Bald. So for being such a lighthearted game, the Animal Crossing community has really gone above and beyond the Call of Duty sometimes to do the most unspeakable things imaginable. So I figured, why not spend $120 on a whiteboard that goes directly onto your wall? So you better watch the whole of this. If I don't break even from this video, I'm going to crash out and try my hand at presenting a video essay of sorts. I'm not gonna promise that it's gonna be anything informative. I'll probably be actually wrong on a lot of this stuff. This is more for like the vibes and the fun of it. I'm not here to find like groundbreaking evidence, okay? Like this has been done before and probably better. Here, check these videos out whenever you're done with mine because they did a good job. But I've asked my audience, I've done my research, so let's have some fun telling some horrible, horrible stories about what some Animal Crossing players did, Diva. Also, for anyone new here, hi, my name's Blake. A lot of y'all think my name is Jake. It's not. I love that I can like move in and out this time. Also, if you want to hear me ramble more after this, I do have a new podcast coming out in a few days on August 25th. Keep Me Young will be coming out with new episodes every single Monday, where me and my co-host Heather attempt to keep each other culturally in the know through pop culture, video games, entertainment, etc. The link to the YouTube channel will be in the description. Please check it out if you get the chance. It would mean so much. Oh, also, before we begin, one last shout out. Rowan Alexandria Bennett, friend of the channel and also sponsor of a previous video for her new book, has just released an audiobook for The Kindest Embrace If Firm Enough Can Suffocate. And she gave us a mini sponsor to shout that out, agreed upon by all parties. And I am so grateful for that. And I've heard so many amazing things from the people that bought the book. So it's in my description and go check it out if you have the chance. Anyway, let's begin with the first culprit. Strong start, I know. So the year is 2008. Crocs were at their peak popularity the first time. I was just starting high school and got in trouble at band camp because I broke a window. And as retribution, all the freshman boys in band had to get into drag and put on a performance. East Texas was a weird place. This was considered a punishment. Also, as a side note, when I told my mom about that, she was like, well, if you're gonna do it, then do it right. Put on a show. The way Queen Donna was so ahead of her time, it's actually insane. It needs to be studied, really. But anyway, sorry, 2008. Animal Crossing City Folk was the new girl in town and doing her press tour. And with this new girl came a cross-functionality to be able to get items from the previous game, Animal Crossing Wild World for the DS. So Nintendo wanted game journalists to know that this feature existed, but in order to do that, you had to be at a certain point into Wild World to use this feature. So they paid some people to play through the game. I know, dream job. People always want to be a YouTuber. Let me tell you, that's the job, Diva. That's the job. Play games. So these professional players got like the save file to the point where Nintendo could send these to game journalists and they could look at the game in its mid form so they could see the item transfer capabilities. But what slipped under Nintendo's nose is that one of the professional players had a colorful vocabulary. Is that the lighthearted way to say racist? So in the game, when you get really close to a villager, you can like assign their catchphrases basically. Like I could have my favorite horse girl say like, hey girl, or slay queen, or slurs. Enter our culprit/victim, Barbara. Whoever the professional player was apparently besties with Barbara. And what did he assign Barbara as her catchphrase? Asian stereotype sentence, how are you? S-tier, prison-worthy, pejorative term for black people. This was sent to 14 game journalists. And Diva, bet your ass they clocked that. So the identities of these game journalists were never confirmed, but sources such as MTV Multiplayer and Computerwoche, German, confirmed the existence of this save file. And obviously, Nintendo issued an apology. Previously played copies of the 2005 DS game Animal Crossing Wild World were sent to 14 members of the media to demonstrate the ability of players to transfer items to the new Animal Crossing City Folk for the Wii. We regret that an offensive phrase was included without our knowledge via a wireless function that allows user-generated catchphrases to spread virally from one game to the next. This version is limited to 14 copies created for media review purposes only and is not available at retailers. We sincerely apologize for the incident and are working with media who received the game cards to return them to Nintendo immediately. They said, please give us back the Oasis copy of the game. We promise we won't do it again. We swear. So I assume that all 14 copies were returned to Nintendo and hopefully set ablaze Fahrenheit 451 book burning style. But if not, is this like a rare, high-value, problematic commodity? Is this the video game version of the debut album of Taylor Swift, but the original version where she still sings, "You're gay"? Regardless, all I can say is, Barbara, Diva, never get into social media. This counts as an old tweet, and they will find it, and they will get you for it. I know you were the victim, but at the end of the day, like, Twitter doesn't care. Twitter's never cared, which we will elaborate on later. Twitter hates context. So now that we finished the first section of the video, I feel it is apropos to introduce you to the fun little minigame we have added to this video. Which afterlife are the offending participators getting? So I decided on about 5 fates that these people could get. Ignore the penmanship. I know it is absolutely atrocious. It has been the same since I was a child. It has never changed. Try as I might. First, we have Camp Heaven. Hilarious. Love it. Keep doing you. Purgatory. It's fine. You can redeem yourself. yourself. Diet hell, a little oogie. I'm gonna give you a side eye. Ultra hell, you f***ed up girl. And super ultra mega hell. The Geneva Convention called, your Uber is here, diva. So starting off strong, Barbara, honey, love you, diva, but oh my god, oh my god. Ultra mega hell. If I put you in anything else, I am canceled. Hello, my divas. I'd just like to take a quick second to thank the sponsor of this video, FlexiSpot. So I'm officially over 30, which means that every decision I make has immediate consequences. One of those decisions being sitting at my desk far too long. Between streaming and editing videos, these cheeks are going through it, girl. But luckily, FlexiSpot has graciously gifted me with their C7M ergonomic chair. Besties, sponsored segment aside, this chair has more adjustments than I've ever seen in a chair. The headrest, the backrest, the lumbar support. You can adjust the depth of your seat. Let me tell you something. I am 6'2", and a lot of that height is leg, and I can still sit crisscross in this chair. Oh, but I saved the best features for last, don't you worry. One is the 5D adjustable armrest. My arms are finicky about where I place them when I'm using a desk, otherwise it'll upset an old tennis injury. And yes, I played sports sometimes in high school, no patronizing gasp necessary. And this chair's armrests, I kid you not, are the first ones I've ever been fully satisfied with. And of course, the main event, the leg rest! Yes, it has a reclining leg rest that you can use or put away at any time. And if you need further proof that I love this chair, check my last video in the past month of my streams. I've been using this chair like crazy, baby. So if you're on the hunt for a new chair, why not give FlexiSpot a shot? They have a 10-year warranty and a 30-day risk-free return policy. Or they do have the C5 and C7 Morpher available, so you can choose your favorite chair depending on your preference. FlexiSpot is also celebrating their 9th anniversary with discounts of up to 65%. Use my code in the description for the best price available. Thank you again so much to FlexiSpot for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to it. So fast forward and we're into 2009, and I guess news was a little slow that day. God, oh God, do I wish that were the case. Now I'm so tired. Imagine how tired we are. A Missouri-based news channel, ABC 17, is on the precipice of a groundbreaking discovery. The Mid-Missouri Internet Crime Task Force, and believe me, they are mid, warns that adults are using the Nintendo Wii, PlayStation, Xbox, and Webkins, the 4 genders, to have inappropriate conversations with children on the internet. And to give them a little bit of grace, this is true. 2009 unfiltered internet access, in my opinion, is the reason that we have Disney adults. Many millennials saw raw, real footage of a guy non-consensually losing his head. And some of these people saw it at a very young age, and their trauma response was to mentally stay right the f there. So yes, inappropriate conversations happened online all the time in like Call of Duty or World of Warcraft or...
This is the game, and you actually create your own character, house, and even town. And when connected to the internet, you can talk to people across the country. And kids have no say as to what some of these characters say to them.
Animal Crossing City Folk for the Nintendo Wii. Now this may sound ridiculous to you, but let me tell you, as someone who grew up in the South at this time, this was well within the realm of possibility for adults, okay? For example, a small group of adults in my East Texas church growing up tried to ban Yu-Gi-Oh cards from the premise of said church because they had just come out with the Egyptian god cards. They thought we were worshiping the cards. Now that being said, that misinformation never made the regionally syndicated news. So the fact that this made the news is already so gutted, but the worst part is, babes, Tortimer caught a stray.
For example, this character could be the man in California police are warning about tonight that asked for images from Missouri children.
It's okay, Blake. Sex pest California Tortimer cannot hurt you. Or can he? And as if Tortimer's wig being snatched wasn't enough, divas, they came for our wig too!
Anderson says adults playing Animal Crossing are likely doing it for the wrong reasons.
I cannot come up with any legitimate reason that an adult would be playing that particular game.
They gagged us a little, I fear. Now, if he actually does want reasons why adults would play Animal Crossing, I can give him a few. Paroxetine, Wellbutrin, PrEP, I mean, hell, Flonase counts at this point. But arguably my favorite part of this video is that there is a lot of B-roll of the news correspondent playing the game. Like, this diva really said, oh, well, I guess I have to play this game for my job. Here goes nothing. Oh no, oh, it's fun, oh no. So I think this deserves Camp Heaven. I do not appreciate the accusations given about by the news team, but the fact that adults with eyes and ears saw this and experienced a War of the Worlds style panic, incredible. Camp, so funny. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that sentence has ever been written before, and it does make me feel kind of important. All right, first, who is Osama bin Laden? That is not a sentence I ever thought I would say on an Animal Crossing video. This goes all the way to the top, baby. So Osama bin Laden is, well, was the leader of the terrorist organization Al-Qaeda and essentially spearheaded the 9/11 attacks in New York City in 2001. Allegedly. That's a joke. That's a joke. CIA, that was a joke. That was a joke, CIA man watching this. So fast forward to 2011, and Osama's compound is raided by the United States Navy, and he is... Well, let's just say the US Navy secured the bag, sis, and leave it at that. So all of Osama's belongings are taken in as evidence, and among those belongings is a hard drive. And in that hard drive is an emulated copy of Animal Crossing Wild World. So this video is not even clickbait. We have an actual war criminal in this video. Well, I guess we actually technically have 2 war criminals. Nope, CIA, I did not finish that joke. I did not finish that joke. I mean, let's be honest, I'm already on that list. I searched Osama bin Laden so many times for research for this video that they are definitely looking at my ass like... Among the other things in this hard drive are Chicken Little, the movie Where in the World is Osama bin Laden? Appropriate. But the absolute craziest thing, in my opinion, they found was this image. This is the kind of Dadaist crazy shit that people only dream of writing about, and it happened in real life. So before filming this, I actually talked about this story a little bit on my stream, Blake Jennings Live and twitch.tv/ShakeBlendings if you're interested. And somebody in my chat said, Osama apparently had thousands of hours logged on some co-op game on Steam, which means a 12-year-old from Ohio probably called him a slur at some point. But back to Wild World. Now there is a strong possibility that it was probably a family member of his or something that was playing this game, but I like to believe in my heart that no one is immune to the wholesomeness and goodness and purity of Animal Crossing. Ignore the Baabara story. But arguably the wildest part of this story, minus the 9/11 thing, is that Osama's save file of Wild World is able to be publicly accessed from the CIA records. And there are living, breathing people in the Animal Crossing fandom who are trying their damnedest to make this game work. Allegedly, they have not succeeded yet because there's some sort of like lost in translation ROM issue or something like that, but the children yearn for the war criminal town. So for that alone, Ultra Hell, I feel like it's more funny than anything, but honestly, I would just kind of feel bad putting it any higher than this. So Ankha is a relatively popular Animal Crossing character who got way more popular. And I can see why people would like her, okay? She's got a cool aesthetic, she's got a great cultural reference, there's a really popular NSFW fan video about her. She's got great dialogue. So in September of 2021, a user that goes by the name of Osama created a video of Ankha dancing to a song called Camel by Sandy Martin, which had been really gaining popularity on TikTok. So admittedly, this is incredibly well animated, and people pick up on that, and they really start liking the video, and they pick up on the dance, and they start doing it themselves, and then the dance gets really popular, and then the song itself gets used for various other purposes. But viewer, this tale is not in chronological order. Call me Charlie Kaufman, I am a visionary. Ooh, artsy, ooh. Flashback to January 28th, 2021. Osama has already made a video about Ankha to the same song, but it's a tribute animation based on a video made by somebody named -8 in 2016. So after all these millions of people have seen this dance video, and after all these thousands of people have recreated it themselves, what is the original video? It's porn. Are we shocked? It's porn. It is a video of Ankha just bouncing on that thing. She is boinking the hell out of the player character. I mean, crushing that pelvis. And I don't think he's mad about it. Blake, that's really inappropriate to say. Yes, of course it's inappropriate to say. That's the entire premise of this video. Catch up. Super ultra mega hell. I don't need to explain this. Get kink dunked on. Ironic that this Crucifixion is about an Easter character. So April 1st, 2020 comes around, and Animal Crossing New Horizons gets its first major update, Bunny Day. So New Horizons has only been out for a few weeks, and once again, we are all stuck in our houses, so this is the talk of the online gay town. So by its very nature, the name Bunny Day would imply it's just one day long, right? Well, in every other Animal Crossing game, yes. In New Horizons, and prior to patch 1.9, it was 12 days. Jesus himself only needed 3 days. Why do you need 12? And like, I kind of get why they did this. It was the first Animal Crossing to have like a crafting feature, so they needed like the 12 days in theory in order to get all the eggs that they needed to create all the items. But the problem was, it royally over your daily activities. These little bastards were everywhere. Fishing, egg. Chopping wood, egg. Jorking your peanut, nope, it's an egg now. And as if that wasn't enough, we are reintroduced to the fan favorite, in the sense that Pennywise is a fan favorite among horror connoisseurs, Zipper T. Bunny. Now, Zipper was in the game before. This wasn't a shock to some players, but for a lot of players, they had never seen him before. City Folk and Wild World came out in November, okay? A lot of people were not hanging around to play Animal Crossing 6 months later, because they're f***ing quitters. And once again, quarantine made this game enormous, and this patch came out just a few weeks later. It was a perfect storm. So there were a lot of fresh eyes on Zipper. A lot of fresh, mean eyes, locked in their house, chomping at the bits to let their vitriol out on the first thing that gave them a semblance of an ick. And let me tell you, ick incarnate. This little freak had it all. The off-putting idle animation, the constant lurking, the eyes that have seen horrors beyond human comprehension, and the worst of it all, the zipper on the back that implies so much and says nothing. Is it a person in a costume? Is the costume empty and it's actually sentient? Is that an organ of his and that's why he gets angry when you look at his zipperussy? The world may never know. Now, I don't mean to throw my metaphorical tinfoil hat into the ring, but I will say the last name Bunny is one letter away from Bundy. An interesting idea, I'll leave it at that. There's actually some fan art also that implies that Jesus is under that costume and is so sad that everyone's so mean to him, and I will give them credit where credit is due. That is camp. But in all seriousness, lore canon true, if you try to talk to Zipper from behind, he gets viscerally angry at you. Unlike me when the boys approach me from behind at the bar. In theory, I have yet to see it happen in practice. But what was the final straw? What was the Animal Crossing equivalent of the smoking gun that took out Archduke Ferdinand and brought about World War I? Cherry blossoms. It was f***ing cherry blossoms. So the cherry blossom event was happening at the exact same time as the Bunny Day Festival, and let me tell you, those items were so much c***ier. Like, that umbrella is p***y. It needs to be studied. It is so beautiful. But once again, like gnats flying above your head in your Little League baseball game, these little twerps would not f*** off. So that c***y umbrella, merely a pipe dream for many an Animal Crossing player, okay? So sad. Like this if you cry every time. And there was only one in-game character on whom the Animal Crossing community could relieve their malaise. Mr. Zipper T. Alexandria Valentino LaBeija Dupree Bunny. And oh, did they. Trapping him in places, hitting him with tools, cyberbullying him on Twitter. Zipper didn't even own a ukulele, okay? How the hell was he gonna get out of this? Well, eventually Nintendo did hear the cries of the begrudged homosexual and patched it to where the egg drops were only really high on Bunny Day proper, and every day before that it was much, much lower. So what is the moral of this tale? Bullying works, tell your friends. So I'm putting this in purgatory mostly because I feel like Zipper would actually enjoy the lower categories, and he certainly doesn't deserve heaven. Okay, so PETA is an organization whose name stands for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. They are animal rights activists, in the same vein that the Westboro Baptist Church are religious activists. They're generally considered to be like a net negative for society. Like, they do some good stuff, but like, at what cost? So Blathers runs the museum in Animal Crossing, where you can drop off fish, fossils, bugs, to the chagrin of our little gay boy Al. I don't know if it's journalistically sound to say that Blathers is gay in this video, but it sounded my heart, so I will keep it in this video as fact.
Little gay boy 45, little gay boy 45.
So PETA caught word of New Horizons and discovered the fish tanks in the game, which I believe are so detailed and pretty, and ooh, baby girl, oh my god, I love them so much. But Diva, they were not happy about those little pixel fish being held in captivity. So they made a TikTok of them running around in the museum and yelling to Blathers, "Empty the tanks!" To a bunch of pixels. To a bunch of pixels! To a bunch of pixels! And in a bout of complete delusion, the video was captioned "A Cultural Reset." But following this video, PETA also released a guide on how to play Animal Crossing in a vegan way, which required the player to abstain from fishing, bug catching, picking up clams or hermit crabs, or building a doghouse. Bore yourself out of ever playing the game again, any percent speedrun, I suppose. Like, I hope this goes without saying, but this isn't real. If you want to fish, no fish are harmed. If you want to catch a bug, it's literally a bundle of pixels. If you want to make extremely raunchy fan fiction of Red and Tom Nook, that's going to cost you the respect of your family, but it's ultimately harmless. Diet hell. They're annoying, but so funny. I mean, we have to talk about it. How could we not talk about it? This is Animal Crossing's most famous discourse. Like, I can pretty confidently say that I knew this story more than any others before I started researching. And before we begin, I do have to address the elephant in the room. I'm white. I am white as f***. It is not my place to speak for anybody in this situation, so I'm going to do my best to be as objective as I can and keep my twink, deaf, Caucasian opinions to myself. So with the release of New Horizons comes a plethora of new hairstyles for the player to choose, including this one. Now, hairstyles in New Horizons do not have any names, otherwise this one would be called Loud Little Gay Boy Who Has Far Too Many Opinions on Ariana Grande. That is the hairstyle that my character is currently rocking in New Horizons. Greta! So one day, on November 20th, 2020, a Twitter user by the name of Fifi at Stardew Leaf tweeted a picture and captioned it, "Cute space buns," and it's a photo of her character in the living room wearing this hairstyle. When I tell you that my vocabulary is not expansive enough to relay to you the sheer amount of hostility that was brought about by this singular tweet. It started with a small amount of backlash, with people saying to not call it space buns and give it its proper name, Afro Puffs. And it's a very popular hairstyle, very cute, very typically not worn in the melaninly challenged community. It was also requested by a few Twitter users that she remove that hairstyle from her character since she is white. So here's the thing, this did have the potential to be a very constructive and positive conversation. That is, if it wasn't on Twitter, because if you've spent more than 20 minutes on that hell site, you know that was never gonna happen. So you have to remember that this is a person who, 1, plays Animal Crossing, 2, puts a lot of time into it, clearly, and 3, posts about it on social media. There's like an 85% chance that this is at the very oldest a teenager, or at the very least does not have their frontal lobe fully formed. Frontal lobe gang, make some noise with your joints. I know they're cracking. So like most not fully realized individuals, when they are met with disagreement, they doubled down. She kept wearing the hairstyle. She kept talking about it. More people were getting pissed. And that's all fine and good. If people had a problem with this, their feelings are valid. They're allowed to feel that way. But the line got crossed twofold. 1, people started saying that Fifi was ableist because, and I kid you not, her Twitter name was in a font that was hard to read. Metal bands everywhere found incarcerated. And 2, the bigger one, doxing. It always ends in doxing. People threatened to release her personal information, kill her dog, mass report her account. I mean, if there was any chance of this becoming a productive conversation, it got taken out back and shot between the eyes. There was no chance. It got snuffed. So how did this situation finally get resolved? It didn't. Everyone got bored of it and she deleted her account 6 months later because she didn't want to be associated with the incident. Love wins! All that being said, super ultra mega hell, and I'm going to stick to my loud twink hairstyle. See you at the Wicked 2 premiere. The Tinder queers queered too close to the sun. So in May of 2020, Animal Crossing New Horizons is a few months into being released to the public. And people in Animal Crossing are not shy to talk to each other outside of the game. The divas are discussing. But in the Animal Crossing trading forums, a new bombshell enters the villa. Star trees. These were essentially like fruit trees or money trees, but instead of those things, it grew star fragments and the tree glowed. Now, I wouldn't necessarily call myself an Animal Crossing expert, but I would call myself a gay people expert. And let me tell you one thing about gay people. Limp wrist see shiny thing, limp wrist won't buy shiny thing. But in a moment of peak homophobia, the trees are fake. They're not real. They're hacked. Not a real item in the game. They were modded by players. They go against the terms of service. The trees are Animal Crossing contraband, although they do admittedly look really pretty. Contraband, if you will. So a lot of people are pro star trees. It's showcasing the creativity of the Animal Crossing community. It's not really hurting anybody. And once again, the trees are as these trees were so popular that people were having modders visit their island and drop off the trees for them at $3 a pop. But of course, as is the reality we live in, with fruity joy comes fruity naysayers. Now admittedly, this was cheating, be gay do crime, and the naysayers of said cheating seem to be spearheaded by a YouTuber going by the name of Verlisify, in what I would call a passion project, I suppose. In July of 2020, Verlisify made it his divine calling to find any and every person who had a star tree on their island and report the ever-loving out of them to Nintendo. He made multiple YouTube videos on it. He had his followers mass report players so Nintendo would see it. And like, he's technically in the right, I guess, but it's just like, I don't know, there's like food insecurity out there and stuff like that. Like, can we find a different passion? But whatever, I guess, like, go off, King. Fuck them kids. But eventually he did win. Nintendo heard the collective pushing up of the glasses from the sticks in the mud that were these people. They heard the mass reporting and the star trees were patched back to their original form. So long, Star Trees, you will be missed by Steven Universe fans everywhere. And people were pissed, worry not. Some of them actually had a lot of audacity. This was a two-way street. Some of them literally tried to get a refund on their Star Trees from Nintendo themselves after they bought them from a black market. The levels of delusion that takes to even attempt doing that, I can't even fathom it. If I had that level of delusion, I'd be president by now. Like, I would have cured cancer. Easy. So yeah, nobody left the situation with a good look. Ultra hell. Now, before we get into our final scandal, and I'm sure at this point you know what it's gonna be, I wanted to do a quick lightning round of all the mini scandals that I feel were something of note, but nothing that I really wanted to elaborate too much on because it's a pretty simple story. So without further ado, let's get started, divas. First subject, Elijah Wood visited a player's island because he wanted a good deal on turnips. Self-explanatory, he just showed up on somebody's island one day, they took a bunch of pictures because they were freaking out, he was asking if they had a good price on the turnips, and that was that. He is our precious little baby boy, he must be protected at all costs, Camp Heaven. Also, side note, I printed all these photos out today at a FedEx print and ship center, which is like a very public place in New York, and somebody was behind me in line when I had 2 prints left, and the 2 prints were Elijah Wood and the Twin Towers. The things I do for y'all. Next, Animal Crossing gentrification. Long story short, somebody on Reddit celebrated that they finally got an island full of nothing but deer villagers, and another person replied with, congrats on the ethno-state. Honestly, literally nothing is funnier than an accidental scandal, so diet hell you go. Up next, QR code hole pics. Basically, people were peddling their nudies on Animal Crossing via QR codes. Nasty work. It's sad that I had to make room for this, but super ultra mega hell you go. Next up, what's in Isabel's drink? It has never been officially disclosed what drink Isabel is drinking every single day at her desk, and it does look like it could be anywhere on the spectrum between unsweet tea and whiskey. And in all honesty, Diva, you work 7 days a week. If that's what you need, that's what you need. Purgatory at worst, it's fine. Next is people bullying Nintendo to bring back Brewster, and it worked. Self-explanatory, he wasn't there day 1, the players were like, bring him back! And they did it. Camp Heaven, that's Praxis, baby. Next, Cookie the dog is an exposing bitch. A Tumblr user was asked to tell the story about their first crush. And I'll leave the story up for a second for you to read if you want to pause. But basically, this person had Cookie as a neighbor. He really loved Cookie, so he wrote her a love letter as like a cute little in-game thing. Cookie moved to the game of another real-life friend of theirs. She brought the letter with her, and the real-life friend saw it, and it was the talk of the town at that person's school. I would simply find the nearest bridge and jump, maybe do a flip. Ultra hell, rest in peace, Diva. Next, the Sanrio amiibos. Now, I might have researched this poorly, but I tried to make this a whole segment, but it just kind of seemed like a Black Friday, like rush kind of situation. Like they were kind of hard to get, and they were like only in Target or something, and people were just like losing their mind about it. But like, are we shocked? You put 2 of the most feral fandoms together, and like, it's just gonna happen. I mean, look at this board for Animal Crossing. Sanrio is like 5 times this. So I call this like a diet hell. They certainly weren't on their best behavior, but it's not like it's something you wouldn't see me do if they added Human Shrek to the game. Like, come on. And our final quick story, Ruby's betrayal. This is not an Animal Crossing community story, this is a personal story. Ruby in Animal Crossing Wild World was my diva. She was my best friend, she was my hag. I loved this little freak with all my heart. It was a cookie moment, So I stupidly decided to do some time skipping to get some New Year's bells from my mom so I could buy more things, and I did it too many times. And she moved. She left a really nice letter, and it wee hurt. I literally bought a knockoff amiibo of Ruby so I could get her on my island in Animal Crossing New Horizons, and it worked. So it did mildly traumatize me, but it did have a good redemption arc, so purgatory, not that bad. All right, now on to our final story. I am sure based on the lineup, you can tell what is missing. What I am about to tell you is probably the most chronically online tale in this entire video. If you don't already know this story, I am frankly shocked you watch my channel, I'm gonna be honest. So in March of 2020, Animal Crossing New Horizons came out, and with it came a new villager, Raymond. A gray cat in business attire, wearing glasses, and has heterochromia eyes. The only hetero thing the Animal Crossing community has ever cared about. So Raymond from the jump is the it girl. Think like Jenny from Blackpink, Taylor Swift during the peak of the Eras Tour, that 24-karat Labubu lady before she put one in. I wish I was joking. How did she not see that reaction coming? Raymond's popularity is only further skyrocketed because somebody on Twitter posted a video of them managing to get Raymond into a maid outfit. I'm not here to kink shame, but I am kink concerned. So everyone wants Raymond. How do you get him? Well, you could spend all of your Nook miles and start visiting islands in the hopes that you get Raymond's island in a 1 in 805 chance. Kinda sounds like my success rate when flirting with boys. I'm so glad I have YouTube. This is literally all I have. Please like and subscribe. So it's a lot of island visits. It's gonna take a lot of time, but it is technically possible, right? Wrong answer, gay little gay person in my comment section. This game had just come out. We did not have a surplus of Nook miles, okay? We didn't even have a bridge. We were poor. I still don't have a bridge. I gave up. But at this point in Animal Crossing's life cycle, the Raymond amiibo card didn't exist yet, okay? We couldn't even payola our way into having this character. So that left everybody with one option, a Hail Mary in the Animal Crossing world. Visiting player islands. I know, socializing, ew, icky, but like we had to. We were victims of circumstance. So the way this works, if a player has Raymond on their island, and if said Raymond is in the process of moving from the island, another player can visit that island, walk up to Raymond and say, hey Diva, you're coming with me. No, you do not get a say in the matter. You are my neighbor now. I am going to bake the ever-loving out of a green bean casserole, and you are going to love it. So this leads us to the Raymond black market. People were selling keepsies, no take backsies of this fuck-ass cat for, and I kid you not, hundreds of dollars during a pandemic. There are rumors of an occurrence of somebody buying Raymond for $1,000. Now that has not been proven to my knowledge, but the fact that we would believe that that could be a possibility speaks volumes. Now some people took a more ethical route and sold Raymond for millions of bells on a website called Nookazon. That's right, Jeff Bezos clawed his divorced hands into Animal Crossing culture too. We are never immune from the influence of the aristocrat of House Bald. But by far, the most hilarious part is that some people were selling not the ability to get Raymond, but to converse with Raymond. COVID made us so sick in ways we will never fully comprehend. We were literally prostituting bundles of pixels. Why did I say we? Who's we? I would never. Yet. But you have to understand, people didn't just want Raymond, they yearned for Raymond. This was approaching biblical levels of desire. For example, in what has now become a pretty famous copy pasta, some Machiavellian psychopath DM'd somebody on Twitter who had Raymond stating, and I quote, "Hello, I have been following your tweets for the past 2 days and have come to the conclusion that you do not deserve to have Raymond on your island. He is my comfort character, and seeing him in an environment not meant for him brings me anxiety. So I will be expecting a reply to this DM when you have him in boxes and ready to relinquish him to someone who will treasure him like he deserves." I don't mean to sound like elitist or anything, but this is the kind of behavior that a 401k like immediately fixes. You don't see a salaried individual saying words like this. So I'm gonna say diet hell for this one. It could have been handled better, but it certainly could have been handled worse. And just like that, I have finished my first ever video essay, I suppose that's what you'd call it. This took so much time, but it was so fun to do. So please, if you like it, please make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. I really would like to do this again if it does well. So if you wanna see more, please interact, let me know what you'd wanna see, share it with your friends, really get the word out. This was fun. This was simply fun. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. So with all that being said, what have we learned from this video? I think the moral is if you see your friend's Nintendo Switch and you notice that they have logged over 500 hours on Animal Crossing, do not check their hard drive. You will be an accomplice and you will be taken to court.